Hey, what's up guys, Darkbreaker here in today's video with a super hyped tier list. The updated tier list for patch 4.3. Patch 4.3 has brought us with so many changes. We have new keystones, First Strike and Glacier Augment. First Strike is changing the meta in the jungle and in the mid lane especially. Then we have the Soraka rework. We have a bunch of new items like Boots of Mana, which is absolutely broken, and also the armor penetration boots. If you guys want to know the best picks in this patch right now, so you guys can grind the new season. Right now I'm also grinding. I am top 10 in the leaderboard in the Europe server, and I am sadly only top 2 Diana. Only top 2 Diana. But I think I have a good idea about what the best champions I have played. Like the day before the reset, a lot of games, playing a bunch of champions, and obviously on the new patch I've already played, or in the new season already played almost 30 games. So we have been on the grind, and I hope you guys will enjoy this video. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe. And before we're starting with the tier list, let me introduce you guys to today's sponsor. Today's video is sponsored by Red Magic 8S Pro, the new gaming phone that you guys need to get if you guys are lagging playing wildrift. Can you play 120 FPS, or are you struggling with your old lagging phone? And with this gaming phone you have no longer any heating problems. You have an inbuilt fan. On top of that, 120 FPS guaranteed, 120 Hz refresh rate, 6000 milliampere battery. So if you guys are struggling with battery life, this phone has a huge battery. On top of that, we have a gaming mode. We have a new phone design for the Red Magic, a notch-less display, so Face ID and Touch ID working on that as well. Shoulder triggers for gaming, high frame rate gaming with Magic GPU. On top of that, the new Red Core 2 dedicated gaming chip. So anyways, let's see how smooth the gameplay is. As you guys can see, 120 FPS, no problem on that phone, no lags as well, no overheating as well, since this phone is absolute fantastic. You guys can see how smooth it feels when I'm playing Camille using my combos right here. So definitely check out the Red Magic phone. Links will be down below, and let's hop right into the tier list. Hey guys, before we're starting with the Baron Lane tier list, right? We have for every tier list, for every role, we have the pick of the patch, where I'm thinking, okay, this is like the champion that is just getting highlighted for the for today's video, and they are very broken. God tier, pretty much. Pick of the patch is the equivalent of a God tier, kinda. Remember, this is my subjective opinion. I try to just give you my opinion about what I think is really strong on the new patch, and it's basically just an orientation for you guys. So this is not in an order, by the way. So Aatrox is not necessarily the best within the S plus tier. I mean, it's kind of easy. Like, they were all ordered in A to Z. So A, C, G. You see, it's like more like alphabet, because I just go through the list and I'm just pulling them up. Okay, anyways, let's get started. Pick of the patch is gonna be on, even though he got nerfed. Even though he got nerfed, he is still way too strong, especially with the resolve path that he can run. He has a 60% win rate in China across all ranks. His average win rate is super high, and even though he got nerfed, it doesn't really affect him that much, because at the same time the resolve path is giving him so many good options. You have Colossus of, what's the name of the rune again? If you immobilize a champion, you're getting a shield that is scaling with your HP. Excellent rune for on, and then on top of that you can run overgrowth as well, so you can just can keep farming, and whenever you kill a minion you're getting more HP, so you can stack yourself up as well. And then probably just Triumph or something. So Triumph, Resolve Path, making him so tanky, and Overgrowth is so good on tanks right now because they can stack up even more HP, becoming even more tankier, and On already has so much resistance from his passive as well. But yeah, he's a CC machine, too much crowd control, super tanky, kind of unkillable in the late game unless you have like tons of true damage. Okay, let's move on. S+ tier, Aatrox. Aatrox is, in my opinion, an insane bruiser, has tons of sustain and survivability, and Last Stand, the rune Last Stand is also so useful on Aatrox because he has so much sustain, and when he's low life he will do even more damage. Akali with Boots of Mana is just so strong right now. For almost any magic assassin or AP assassin right now, they can just run Boots of Mana into Pendant. Boots of Mana, 60 ability power, 8 ability 8 magic penetration for only 1,400 gold. Then you're getting sudden impact plus pendant, and you're 33 lethality in or magic penetration in the early game, doing true damage. So this is very good for like Akali, Evelynn, Echo, Fizz, etc. So yeah, Boots of Mana really strong on assassins and poking mages as well. Poking mages also have become way stronger with this. But yeah, Akali, insane assassin, really good in teamfights as well. Camille, super strong laner, great in teamfights thanks to her catch potential with the ultimate, and obviously very amazing split pusher. Then we have Garen. Garen is just a tanky beast. I think in the last, I thought he would be weaker because he couldn't run Hullbreaker anymore, but it really doesn't affect him too much. He's still just so solid. Like, he's so tanky that, like, I think the main reason why I'm putting him S+ is because of his consistency. He's just such a consistent champion. Like, no matter what, he can face almost any champion and he can do fine. And then he's also very easy to play. Gwen, one of the strongest AP duelists, skates like a truck in the late game, doing tons of damage and has true damage as well. Gragas, whether you're running him AP or tank, he is very versatile, doing tons of poking damage as AP, and has like so much crowd control when he's going tanky as well, with a third ability to knock people up and with the ultimate for some playmaking potential. Next one is going to be Jax. Jax is one of the strongest split pushers in the game. Wukong, insane teamfight and has so much sustain as well, especially with, trust me, if you're running like Last Stand plus Shield Bash, when you're low life, you will do so much damage. After using your first ability, your next auto attack is just gonna do so much damage afterwards. Like Divine Thundra plus Last Stand plus Shield Bash, it's just an amazing combo on Wukong, and also in the jungle. Yeah, Shen is an amazing tank with the Taunt ability as his playmaking tool, and then obviously the ultimate for split pushing and joining teamfights. Riven, high mobility, burst damage. I mean, she's overall like pretty solid. Like, what can I say? She has tons of mobility, she has really good damage, and is a strong duelist as well. Darius has so much sustain thanks to his first ability. He has true damage on that ultimate when he has Noxus Might and he's just trying to execute people, and obviously he has the reset mechanic running everyone down, but obviously the downside is from those juggernauts that they're getting kited. Fiora, I think she is a great duelist and great split pusher, but she's pretty hard to play in teamfights. That's why just S tier. Jace, a ranged champion that is a strong duelist and insanely good in the early laning phase and has so much poking damage as well. Malphite is one of the best teamfighting champions. His ultimate is an amazing playmaking tool in those dragon teamfights or at the Baron. He is very good against physical damage compositions as well, but he kind of struggles against strong split pushers. Renekton, I think Renekton is overall a very solid champion, has good sustain, has a stun, has mobility, is also tanky. Overall, a very solid package. Then Zed. Zed is very similar to Darius, minus the fact that he's more teamfight orientated and he is a bit more tanky thanks to his second ability, which is granting a huge shield when he's receiving damage, and his amazing playmaking potential with this third ability and with the ultimate in teamfights. Oh, I put Shen twice, oops. Sion is amazing split pusher with Hullbreaker. He's super tanky, and I think Overgrowth is super useful on him as well. And obviously in team fights he has good crowd control and can be a good meat shield as well. Yone, one of the strongest late game scaling champion and also a decent duelist at the same time. Akshan, cheesy range champion in the Baron. I forgot to put Vayne, by the way. Oops. Akshan, cheesy range champion to punish some elite champions. So you want to snowball in the early game, but he's pretty easy to punish because he's obviously very squishy, and if the enemy jungler is camping you, you have a big problem. Next one is gonna be Swain. Swain overall, I mean, he's a solid poking champion in the early game in the laning phase, and he becomes super tanky. I think Overgrowth on Swain in the Baron lane can be pretty damn good. Like, you're running Road of Age, Overgrowth, and you're scaling and you're just AFK farming, and then you can become super tanky. I think Swain just provides so much crowd control and is a good meat shield in team fights, but obviously against split pushers and Divine Sandra champions with Hullbreaker he will struggle, like let's say a Camille or Jax later on. Volibear, I think Volibear is okay-ish in the Baron lane. He has a lot of bad matchups and he struggles against a lot of champions, so he's kind of situational to pick, but he can be a good frontliner in team fights. He has a nice ultimate to dive. He is pretty damn tanky, but the problem is more like the 1v1 he has a lot of matchups where he's struggling. Grace, I think Grace is a bit too scaling in the game that he needs to AFK farm. Maybe you could run something like Futures Market. Like, you're never resetting, you're just AFK farming. With Overgrowth, so you guys become more tanky and you're just split pushing the whole time. Definitely potential. But yeah, three core items on Grace is when he's starting to pop. Next one, Aurelia. Hello there. Aurelia is a strong assassin. Aurelia is a strong assassin, but she has a lot of hard matchups, so she's kind of situational in the Baron lane. Okay, next one, Jarvan. Dude, I'm getting spammed. What the hell is happening? Okay, I need to do do not disturb. Next one, Jarvan. Solid laner, good in team fights. Pantheon, very strong in the early game, but has a bunch of bad matchups, plus he falls off. Urgot, strong in the early game, kind of falls off later on, but is great in team fights thanks to his playmaking potential, and he's also a good meat shield. Cannon, insane in team fights, and Boots of Mana is also very helpful on him. Teemo, strong in the early game, very good lane bully, so he wants to snowball in the early game, but his team fighting is not that good in the early mid game. He kind of wants to get to a point in the late game where he can just spam the shrooms everywhere on the map, and that's his value. And then like the assassination, guerrilla tactic, ambush style, where you're just trying to pick off people and just poke them down, assassination style. Diana, a solid laner in the Baron lane, but obviously she has a lot of bad matchups, or she will struggle to win those 1v1s against certain champions. Vayne and Lucian, kind of similar to the Akshan description, minus the fact that they're more easy to punish and they're not as oppressive in the laning phase as an Akshan, because Akshan is probably one of the strongest lane bullies in the game, especially when you're playing Akshan against a melee champion, by the way. Next one, Nasus. Nasus is a scaling champion. I think you could run like a Futures Market combo on him with Overgrowth. I think you just go AFK farming with Overgrowth and hope your bot line is not inting, and hope you can AFK farm for 15 minutes and then you become a tanky god. I guess that's the goal of every Nasus one-trick pony. But yeah, I think Nasus just struggles too much and he's too scaling. Next one, Olaf. Olaf is a situational pick. I think he can be good against certain champions in the Baron lane that are like tanky, or against certain matchups where they have like a lot of crowd control and you just want to run them down, or they're very tanky melee champions where you're not getting kited. But I think in the Baron lane he is just so cheesy. If you're not snowballing in the early game or you're not winning, then he's kind of flop pick. A lot of times when I've never seen an good Olaf Baron lane pick so far. Like when I have a Baron and Olaf, they're always inter, so I wouldn't recommend it unless you're maybe Darkbreaker Olaf or random Olaf, then maybe. But yeah, I don't think most of the times Olaf Baron lanes are inters. Same for Pantheon, kinda. Pantheon is also a pick where you're like, you're supposed to win in the early game. If you're dying level 2, you're useless, so... I mean, I think Pantheon... I mean, whenever I lane against a Pantheon, there are some players that are playing him very good. So, I can't say he's a bad pick. It's just the players that don't know how to play Pantheon correctly. Nautilus next. I think Nautilus is a fine pick. Tanky, crowd control, but nothing too special. It's just good for team fighting. But 1v1 obviously he's not as good like as Malphite, because Malphite 1v1 actually can win a lot of matchups where they don't have sustain and you just kind of chunk them down slowly. Sinch, very good in teamfight, super scaling, bad in the early game. Tryndamere, also not strong in the early game, but he scales pretty damn well later on. Problem is he's kind of getting kited in teamfights. Kayle, too squishy, too scaling, too easy to punish, and she is a late game god though. Scale for 20 minutes, and the new comeback mechanic is pretty good for Kayle, because she's like, when you're behind and you're killing turrets, you're getting so much gold right now. Like when there's a bounty on the map, actually I was thinking Kayle on this patch with the new bounty system is very good for like comebacks, so it makes Kayle actually better, but still in the Baron lane, shit. In the jungle, different story. Okay, let's move on to the jungle tier list. For the pick of the patch, it's gonna be... Oops, I can't even talk. It's gonna be Blue Kayn First Strike. This champion is a god pick. He is so strong. The rank 1 player, Riders. I mean, if you guys have watched my stream, I've played with Riders a few times. He is abusing Kayn. Using... he's no longer, by the way, he's no longer going for the tank item in the early game, so you can stack up the blue farm quicker. He's going for longsword, into armor pen boots, into serpent, serrated dirk. Like he's rushing armor penetration, just one-shotting people from the get-go, and every time he's using his combo, he's getting 30 to 40 more gold in the early game, scaling way quicker into his core items, Yuma's Ghostblade, Mana Mune, maybe Serpent's Fang, very good in this meta against all those shield champions. Also Duskblade, very strong on Kayn right now since they changed it. So yeah, Kayn has been one, like I can show you some clips where I'm just literally one-shotting people, like bam, bam, pew, 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 like eliminated, like completely eliminated from existence. Like it's just WQ, boom, WQ, boom, like completely broken when he's snowballing. He has so much mobility, and if the opponents then have a lot of crowd control and they're squishy, Kayn is the menace. What is your guys' opinion about Kayn on this patch? I've noticed a lot of people like to see a Kayn video. Do you guys want to see a new Kayn video with Duskblade and Armor Pen Boots Rush? I'll try to make it work. I'm gonna play it today probably. It's so strong actually. And Riders is playing solo queue only. He's playing solo queue only, abusing Kayn with a 75% win rate in total. Rank 1. Rank 1 solo queue. Playing Kayn, by the way. Master already. He's already master. I'm slightly behind. I'm Diamond 2, by the way. I'm Diamond 2 with 3 marks or something. So we're like top 10 or top 15. I think top 10. Maybe by the time you're watching, we might be a little bit off. Or maybe by the time you're watching, I have played on stream and I'm top 10. Let's see. Anyways, S+. For S+, we have Aatrox. Still super strong. Last Stand, so good on him. You could run Alacrity or Legend Bloodline as well. So good on Aatrox or Tenacity as well. Riven, high mobility, burst damage, works even better in the jungle than in the Baron lane because of her mobility and her burst damage. You could also try First Strike on Riven probably, because Riven has really good burst damage and she's getting a lot of bonus gold then to snowball. I would try. I haven't tried First Strike Riven yet, but I will try. Volibear with Overgrowth, so good. Tanky monster. Really good dive potential, and is just so amazing in team fights because he is such an amazing scaling tank. With Twin Guard plus Overgrowth is such an amazing combo, because with Overgrowth you're getting more HP, more HP, more HP, and Twin Guard gives you so much resistance as well. Diana, Mana Boots, Boots of Mana, one-shotting people. Evelyn, same. Gragas, the same. AP champion abusing Boots of Mana, Pendant, and Sudden Impact. The story is you're just getting one-shotted and one-shotted and one-shotted, and guess what? You're just getting one-shotted. So Diana, amazing high mobility burst damage assassin. Evelyn, amazing stealth assassin. Gragas, a poking one-shot playmaking machine. Kha'Zix with First Strike, just one-shotting you. Lee Sin also with First Strike, high mobility, high pressure, or should I say high tempo jungler, ganking left and right. Shyvana with Overgrowth, farming the jungle over and over and over. Once she has 400 stacks, or Ori at 300 stacks. 300 stacks for items, 3 items. You're just running people down, doing so much damage, becoming so tanky as well. Wukong, I'm running Shield Bash. And Last Stand on Wukong, and it's so fantastic. Wukong has so much sustain already, and he does so much more damage now, so it makes him even better. Yone, Berserker's Greaves on Yone is so fantastic. You just run Conqueror Bloodline, giving you so much Omnivamp already. Then you have Blade of the Rune King. Maybe you're running Divine Thunder against tanky champions. Maybe you're running Bloodthirster. You have so much sustain on Yone. He's an insanely godly late game scaling champion, and he just does so much damage, and he has so much playmaking potential thanks to his ultimate, thanks to his third ability, and even the first ability knockup. Now, we have a bunch of other First Strike champions. I guess we can cover the First Strike champions. Echo with First Strike. Yes? I have a sexy video coming, by the way. I've played every jungler on the new patch already, and I've tried almost everything. The only junglers I haven't tried yet is... I haven't played Twitch yet, and Twitch is... I've played against a lot of Twitch players though, and Twitch is really strong. I haven't played myself, Boots of Mana, Evelyn. I'll try it probably, but I'm kind of tryharding, pushing in the new season right now, so I haven't really tried out too much variety. I've tried variety the day beforehand. But yeah, Echo with Boots of Mana and First Strike, just scaling so quickly into his core items. Same for Fizz. Like these 3 champions actually, they're scaling way quicker into the late game or into their core items right now. I guess Gwen could also run Boots of Mana. But I mean, to be honest, you don't really need it. Maybe just run Omnivamp. But yeah, Echo, Fizz, really good with Pendant and Boots of Mana, just one-shotting people. And I'm running First Strike on both of these champions because you're getting so much gold and additional true damage, and you're scaling quicker into your core items. On top of that, in the mid game, from mid game to late game, First Strike accelerates your scaling. Like in the early game, it's like a slight boost every time, like 30 more gold, 40 more gold, 30 more gold, 40 more gold. And then in the mid game, when you're starting to one-shot people, 200 more gold, 200 more gold, 200 more gold each time. Like you can see, it's like a curve, like slightly 30, 30, 30, 40, 50, and then suddenly 200 gold more, 200 gold more. So that's like exponential growth. Or, I mean, to be fair, you're kind of capping at some point. Because, I mean, at some point, when you're one-shotting someone, it's like just 200 gold max. So it's like 30, 30, and then 200 more gold. But yeah, Gwen also, I guess she benefits from Bloodline and Alacrity as well, and Last Stand. Last Stand when you're low life. Yeah, Gwen has a lot of sustain and a lot of turn potential with her ultimate. So when you're low life, and you have 5 stacks on Conqueror, you have the Omnivamp, plus the first ability heals you, then you have maybe a Last Stand doing more damage when you're low life, then you have Bloodline giving you even more Omnivamp, and then you're running Icy Boots as well, so this is how you could do it. Or you could try a Pendant to be fair, I haven't tried it out yet. Boots of Mana pendant on Gwen in the early game. To be fair, she's not a champion that necessarily benefits too much from magic penetration, because she has already 2 damage, so you don't really need it, but maybe it might help her to snowball quicker. Twitch! AP Twitch, just too strong. I guess you could run Boots of Mana on him as well, because he does magic damage. Boots of Mana, Twitch. I mean, the thing is, his early game is not the greatest, but he's very good at snowballing with his stealth. And then when he has 3-4 core items, this guy is like, he just wipes team fights alone. Like, in solo queue is excellent. He's very similar to Evelynn, but his tempo is kind of slow. But he has better carry potential in the late game than in Evelynn. Twitch, 4-5 items. Late game, he just wins team fights on his own very easily. Jace with First Strike is very, very strong. You're just poking people down, scaling super quickly and just one-shotting people. Yeah, armor penetration boots rush. Like, I've talked to riders and he said to me, like, all these lethality champions just rush armor boots, armor penetration boots. Armor penetration boots into Yumus, you're just one-shotting people. Pyke also with the new Dust Blade, pretty damn strong, good snowballing champion. Jarvan, with First Strike, lethality, you're just one-shotting people left and right. Very good in teamfights and good high tempo jungler in the early game. Morgana, I think Morgana is still very excellent in some team compositions. She's very solid poking champion. She farms super quickly and has a lot of crowd control in team fights. Olaf kind of situational, but he's very good against melee champions. He has true damage. Last Stand is also very good. I think you could run Last Stand Overgrowth. Just farming, getting more tanky. Last Stand provides you with more damage when you're low life. So that synergizes really well with Olaf as well. But yeah, Olaf, true damage, and he can ignore crowd control. I've been told some people have been trying Sinchon with First Strike. I haven't tried it yet. I guess you could try like Yumus, Trinity, Sinchon with First Strike, just one-shotting people. And you're just scaling quicker, and then you're building more tanky afterwards. But yeah, Sinchon is a super solid pick, obviously. Has a lot of damage, has good ganking potential, is also tanky. Same for Vi. Then we have Nautilus, who is tanky, has a lot of crowd control. Then Amumu is amazing in team fights. Nunu also amazing in team fights, really good ganker as well. And then also Ramos, amazing ganker, very tanky and an amazing counter pick into melee champions. So these are like the tanky champions in the jungle that you could run if you guys need the tank. And they're just very good in team fights and excellent at winning team fights 5 versus 5. Now next one is gonna be Nilah. We have Nilah jungle, and I've tried it twice now, and I think her jungle clear speed is very fast. She has a lot of mobility. I think the downside is just that she might be a little bit squishy, and she's a situational champion because she wants to jump into people. So you need a champion that can initiate for you. And then Nilah can work pretty damn fine. But I wouldn't pick her when you don't have an initiator, because she's kind of short range. Next one is going to be Shen in the jungle, maybe with overgrowth as well, scaling, good crowd control. His ultimate is obviously very good to join. Like, let's say you're ganking bot lane, and then you see, okay, in the top lane someone is ganking, you can use the ultimate to counter gank. So ultimate is a great counter ganking tool. Lilia jungle, I think she's kind of slow paced, but she's absolutely fantastic once she has like 3 items and is scaling. Yeah, she has a lot of percentage damage and good utility in team fights with her ultimate. Camille, I think Camille is a solid pick. In the early game, she's definitely kind of slow paced. Even though they buffed the second ability, she's still kind of slow paced. Yeah, but they did buff her a while ago, not in this patch. Her ultimate is very good for ganks, obviously. And she has high mobility. Kayle, I think with the new comeback system, it makes Kayle even better. When you're behind and you're getting objectives, you're getting so much gold. And Kayle is allowed to farm in the jungle, much more easier than in other lanes. And then in the late game, she's like a super hyper carry. Dr. Mundo with Overgrowth Rune, when you're just killing monsters, you're getting more HP, makes him even more tanky. He's overall good meat shield, good jungle, decent jungle clear, not the greatest ganker though. Fiora, great duelist in the early game. She wants to go for those aggressive plays in the early game to snowball, but she isn't that good in team fights. Rengar is kind of hit and miss. You can run first strike on him too to snowball, to scale quicker into your full crit item build. Yeah, when he's fat, you can just one-shot people, but when you're not snowballing, you can also just be a 0-6 Rengar that can't do anything. Graves is excellent when he's scaling, doing tons of damage, but yeah, his early game is definitely kind of slow pace. He wants to focus on farming. Pantheon is very strong in the early game, also with first strike, snowballing like a truck, but in the mid and late game he kind of falls off. Aurelia is a great assassin in the right hands, but not as easy to make her work. Zed, great assassin with first strike, good at snowballing the game. But yeah, that's about it, I would say. Next one, Urgot. Urgot is in the early game pretty damn strong. Like, he's super tanky and he has very solid jungle clear speed. I think he kinda falls off though in the late game because then he doesn't do as much damage and he's just meat shield with crowd control. Darius, a champion that has good carry potential, especially with... I've tried Trinity. Like, if you guys have seen the video, I've tried Trinity Collector and I've been carrying with that build so hard, but there are a lot of compositions where Darius will struggle. Jax and Tryndamere are kinda slow paced, they are very slow jungle clear speed and they need to scale and get their core items. Master, he is kinda coin flip champion, sometimes he snowballs and he just runs people down, and other times when you're facing like crowd control or tanky champions, it's very hard for Master Yi to play. Warwick, I think he is just too weak in team fights. I mean, his ganks can be good thanks to his ultimate, but his team fighting is really subpar. Then Akshan is kind of cheesy jungle pick. But yeah, that's good, and let's hop right into the mid lane. Okay, let's move on with mid lane. Pick of the patch is gonna be Lux. Lux has so much poking damage with Boots of Mana, then she has so much shielding value. Thanks to her second ability, Lux is just so good right now, thanks to her rework. Other champions that might contest that even are Ahri, Akali and Zoe, or even Jace. These are like so strong champions with Boots of Mana or with First Strike. Jace First Strike, such a strong assassin with insane poking damage. But yeah, Ahri, Akali and Zoe. Boots of Mana, Pendant, making them so strong. Ahri, insane playmaking and assassination potential, same for the Akali. And Ahri has so much higher, like so much mobility thanks to her ultimate. Zoe has insane poking damage right now. I mean, some people could run like, you could run like First Strike with Zoe, and then you're scaling so hard into the mid and late game. Or you're just running Electrocute, obviously. But yeah, Boots of Mana, Pendant, just making us so strong. Corki as well. Honestly, Corki could run Boots of Mana as well for the magic penetration in the early game, because Corki does mainly magic damage. I've seen some people run First Strike on Corki, and I think it's not that bad for a poking champion. Poking champions can really benefit from First Strike in the mid and late game, because you can consistently stack up more gold and more gold and more gold, and then at some point you're just starting to one-shot people. So Zoe and Corki can run First Strike. Need to try it more often. Jace definitely can run First Strike. He's like a super strong lane dominant champion and just keeps poking people down, just one-shotting them with his poke. Kassadin, insane late game scaling champion, just one-shotting people. Katarina is still the solo queue. Like in lower ranks, she's like definitely broken. Maybe not like in super high elo, but I mean, even honestly, every rank there's like Clown Fiestas. Katarina gets one reset and she can just turn the fight on her own. Zed with First Strike, amazing assassin, good at split pushing as well. Karma, insane poking champion with high utility and shielding and amazing ultimate and team fights. Yone is, I mean, I already said it, like an insane assassin with playmaking potential and one of the strongest late game scaling champions. Pyke, on the, I mean, with the dust blades, it's just so strong. I feel like you could try first strike, by the way, on him, maybe. But I guess the electrocute definitely helps you to secure kills easier. But you're with the dust blade, high mobility, roaming champion with a lot of playmaking potential. Swain, high crowd control, tanky champion. Fizz, insane assassin, skates like a truck into the late game. Galio, utility, poking champion, super solid. Gragas, a strong, solid poking champion. Lucian, high mobility, burst damage. Like, he dominates a lot of laning phases. He has some matchups where he will struggle, but overall he has a lot of mobility and a lot of damage. Did I miss something? I feel like I think I missed Ziggs, right? Did I miss Ziggs? I'm missing Ziggs, yeah. Orianna and Ziggs together. Orianna and Ziggs are great utility poking mages in team fights. Super solid. If they have frontline, they work the best. Yasuo, I think just S tier, because there are too many Yasuo flippers. And I don't want to promote Yasuo flippers because, honestly, Yasuo requires high skill and a lot of people are just playing too over-aggressive and just inting in the early game. But yeah, Yasuo can be very good, especially with the right team comp, and he just does tons of damage when he has like 3 core items. Twisted Fate, a macro machine, a lot of crowd control as well with his gold card, so great pick of potential. And good map control when you use the ultimate correctly. Vex is an amazing assassin with poking damage and the fear mechanic, and also reset mechanic. Honestly, I should put Vex S+. I think I forgot to put her correctly into S+. She's definitely S+. Then we have Aurelia. Amazing assassin, high mobility and great outplay potential. High skill ceiling though. Annie. I mean, she can have some amazing teamfight potential with like a nice ultimate or flash ultimate or protobot ultimate, but overall in the early game she's not the strongest and not a great roamer. Aurelion Sol is not strong in the early game. He can have good roaming potential and he can be pretty good in teamfight, but overall he's pretty hard to play. Brand, I would say, is pretty strong in the early game with his poking damage and his combos. Kind of bad roamer though, so he will struggle against some assassins, but with the right team comp, and when he can stand far back and just keep poking people down, he has a lot of percentage damage and poking damage. Gwen kind of scaly. Oops, Diana's definitely wrong here, by the way. Diana's S. I think I just moved her up and then I forgot to put her up to S+. Diana S+. Amazing assassin. High mobility burst damage, insane in teamfights. Because sometimes I just move them up to C first and then from here I scroll up and then I keep them moving them up. But I probably forgot to move Diana up. Anyways, Gwen, kind of weak in the early game. Not that good against a few champions, but she skates like a truck. Morgana in the early game is also not that strong and doesn't have good wave play in the early game, but she has very good poking damage and utility in teamfights later on. Pantheon is a strong, cheesy snowballing champion in the early game. Great snowball potential with his ultimate to gank left and right, but he kind of falls off in the mid and late game. Veigar. I think Veigar is an amazing utility-based poking champion with playmaking potential thanks to his event horizon, but he's kind of too scaling and he needs the right team comp to make him work. I could put him S tier, by the way, but I've seen too many Veigar inters that I'm like, nah, just put him A tier. Screw them. Echo, not the strongest in the early game, but he scales pretty damn well into the mid and late game and just one-shots people. Cannon, great ultimate and team fights, but I think in the mid lane he has too many bad matchups. Then Lilia, I think she's in the early game too weak into scaling, but she can be good in team fights. Kayle also very scaling and weak in the early game, but obviously in the late game she's just so strong, but get into the late game. Seraphine, I think she's kind of weak in the early game. Yeah, she's definitely weak in the early game, and there are too many bad matchups for Seraphine. Like so many matchups where she will struggle to survive the lane, and if you get ganked, like, you will just die on cooldown. But obviously her ultimate has some value in teamfights. But yeah, that's great for mid lane. Okay, let's move on to ADC. For ADC, pick of the patch is gonna be Jhin. Jhin with first strike just snowballing and is so strong. He has really good, I mean, I think Jhin is the biggest benefitor from this patch. He could also run Dustblade, by the way. He's the biggest benefitor from the ADCs since he can run first strike rune, snowballing quicker into the game, getting more gold, collector plus first strike, and like you're just getting so much gold. And he really has a lot of damage. Even in the mid and late game, he has a lot of damage now. Since you're very strong in the early game, right? Early mid game, you're very strong. In the late game, you might fall off in comparison to some other ADCs, but you're snowballing so quickly right now with a first strike rune that it kind of compensates. Like, let's say a Tristana will have like 8,000 gold. You will have like way more gold thanks to a first strike, thanks to collector. So at that point, you always have like way more gold, so you're in comparison still way stronger, even though the champion is a stronger late game champion. So Jhin, just super strong on this patch right now. Then we have for S+, I've kind of been hesitant. I feel like ADCs aren't that good in comparison. They have kind of been falling off thanks to first strike. Like first strike assassin junglers are just shitting on ADCs right now. ADCs have been kind of falling off. Like, I feel like when I'm playing against ADCs, I don't feel like, wow, this ADC is so hard to kill. Like, they are just not as strong in this meta. In this meta, assassins, like AP assassins and jungle assassins with first strike, or like poking assassins with the boots of mana, are just dominating ADCs right now. So ADCs have been falling off. And I think Lucian and Tristana are still very broken, but the others feel not as strong right now in this meta. So I've decided to move a bunch of them into S tier, like strong, solid champions, like really strong, but I wouldn't say, wow, they're broken, I can't deal with them anymore. Lucian, high mobility burst damage, does tons of damage. Tristana, one of the best late game scaling champion. Like, she has a lot of range as well, makes it hard to kill. Nilah, the new champion Nilah, just got released, and I think she works the best, not with an enchanter, but with a tanky engager, like an Alistair, Rakan, Gragas, where they are initiating and you're just following up. Not with an enchanter. I mean, to be fair, you can run her with an enchanter, but you need another tank then, because she needs an initiator, because she's kind of short range. So she's a champion similar to Samira that wants to jump in. Actually, I made a mistake here. So, Caitlyn, solid range. So let me summarize this again. Nilah is a champion that has like insane amount of sustain, and she gets a lot of healing overall from her passive and from her ultimate, and she has some pretty nice playmaking potential with her ultimate, and the third ability provides her with a lot of mobility as well. And then she can block auto attacks as well with her second ability, so I think that makes her pretty damn solid. Caitlyn, long range champion, very solid overall. Draven, strong snowballing champion, falls off though, and he kind of lacks mobility. I feel like I haven't really seen, I've played like 50 games on this new patch. I feel like Vayne isn't as strong anymore because everyone is spamming enchanters. Lulu and Yuumi are never open. Only if you have Yuumi or Lulu, then Vayne is really good. But without them, Vayne alone isn't standing out anymore. Because she's pretty damn scaling. They did nerf her early game. Corki, fantastic in teamfights. Very strong in teamfights. I mean, obviously Vayne still have high mobility, true damage as well, and playmaking potential. And late game she's very strong. But she doesn't feel as strong as she was previously. Maybe just first strike assassins are just too strong right now. That's why ADCs feel weaker. Or I'm just one-shotting them. It doesn't matter what they're picking. Ezreal, high mobility, poking champion, scales very well into the late game. Yeah, overall very strong champion. Varus, great poking damage, good utility thanks to his ultimate as well. Kai'Sa, huge shield with her ultimate, great assassin kinda as an ADC. Overall very solid at every stage of the game. Saya, super consistent ADC, and good turn potential thanks to her feathers, and good self-P with her ultimate. Samira is very similar to Neela. More close range ADC that wants to jump in, but she has like tons of sustain. Ashe. I think Ashe has great utility, but she doesn't have as much damage as other ADCs. Zeri, a little bit too scaling. Strong in the late game though. Same for Jinx. These two champions are kind of weak in the early game, but they're scaling very hard. Then we have Misfortune. Misfortune, a very strong champion in the early game, lane bully, and fantastic ultimate in teamfights. For the APCs, we have Ziggs, Lux, and Orianna. Ziggs and Orianna are very good utility poking mages in teamfights. Same for Lux, she has really good poking damage as well. So that's why I'm putting them A tier. If you guys want to run APCs, which most people don't, pick them when you have like a melee or AD champion in the mid lane. Then Brand. Brand is a decent poking mage, but doesn't have as much damage as the other poking mages I've put in here, like Ziggs and Orianna. And then we have Morgana, kind of weak in the early game though. Akshan is kind of cheesy and short range, so he wants to snowball, and he plays, most of the times you're playing him with like an engaging champion, where you're just both jumping in the landing phase onto the opponent. Twisted Fate also kind of cheesy pick. Does have the gold card though, but I feel like he doesn't have as much damage as the other ADCs. Same for Senna as an ADC. I think she's way better as a support. She doesn't have as much damage as the other ADCs, and she takes a lot of time to scale as well. Let's move on to supports. Pick of the patch is gonna be Soraka. Soraka's rework allows her to spam heal everyone without sacrificing her own health. She is a god pick right now, and she works best if you have like frontline, like 1 or 2 tanks, and you just keep healing them over and over and over on 0 cooldown. Super strong pick right now. But yeah, kind of situation. What's your opinion about Soraka, by the way? Do you think Soraka is broken? And what's your opinion about the change they did on Soraka? Next one is me, Lux. Tank Lux has been super popular thanks to her crowd control spam and shielding spam. And then on top of that, she's also tanky. So tank or support Lux in general, super strong. Then we have Yuumi, obviously, still very strong enchanter, buffing someone up, and that person is becoming super strong. Same for Lulu. Then we have Karma, our poking utility mage. She provides shielding, mobility, and amazing ultimate. Pyke, a very strong roaming supporter with tons of playmaking and carry potential thanks to his ultimate. And then Duskblade also getting buffed, making him even stronger. For tanky engaging champions, we have Alistar. I mean, he has an AoE knockup on a low cooldown, then he has his ultimate that provides him with a lot of damage reduction, and the new runes are very good on those tanks, by the way. I think the name is Shield of Colossus, where if you immobilize the champion, you're granting or you're getting a shield that is scaling with your max HP. And then you also have Revitalize, the new rune that is increasing the healing and shielding. So this is the rune is making, or like you have the rune and the enchantment. Like there's a new enchantment, I think Enchantment of Life, maybe you're getting 20% more healing and shielding from that enchantment, making all of these enchanting champions way better. You no longer have the protect enchantment, but now you have like the consistent plus 30% enchantment. Then Gragas, obviously good playmaker. Thresh with a hook, great playmaker. Nautilus, high crowd control playmaker with a knockup from the ultimate, with a root on the passive, and with a hook. Then Rakan has AoE knockup plus AoE taunt, making him such an amazing playmaker. Galio also with an AoE taunt and very good against magic champions thanks to his magic damage reduction on the second ability. Janna and Nami are still amazing enchanters and peelers, also benefiting obviously from the new enchantment and from the new revitalized rune. Janna is gonna get reworked soon, but not now. So she has like a tornado for knockup, shielding for your allies, and peeling with the ultimate. Nami Bubble, amazing playmaking and peeling tool, and the ultimate as well. Then we have Braum, good against poking champions, especially because he has the shield to block them. Decent playmaker with the ultimate, and then the first ability for stun, but it's single target. Leona is a great counter against enchanters because she can initiate and dash onto them pretty easily in the early game. She is also kind of tanky, has some nice crowd control with I think the first ability is a single target stun, and then the ultimate can stun multiple people, but landing the ultimate is kind of hard. While these champions have like AoE crowd control on a low cooldown in comparison. Senna, Ashe, and Sona, I think in the right team comp, they can be very, very good. Senna is an amazing enchanter. I mean, I wouldn't call her enchanter. She's like a second ADC basically with crowd control. And you want to pick her like with frontline, then she's working the best. Same for Ashe with her utility and her playmaking potential. And then Sona also scaling. Like, I think in the early game she's not that strong. But in the mid and late game, she provides so much value with her healing and her ultimate for playmaking potential, especially if you're frontline. Blitzcrank is a champion that is kind of coin flipping. If you land a nice hook, you can turn a fight. But yeah, not that consistent. Morgana, kind of weak in the early game, but obviously does have good crowd control with her poke and her ultimate. Seraphine, her ultimate can be good in the mid and late game. If you land like one good ultimate, you can turn a fight. Shen, Shen and Zed are kind of situation cheesy picks in the early game, where you want to play aggressive and catch people and try to snowball. Shen with a taunt and Zed with a third ability playmaking tool. And I think the problem is these two champions are champions that need a lot of gold to be tanky and get value. So I think they're way stronger in the Baron lane. But yeah, that's great for the tier list. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Pick of the patch on, then Kayn, Lux, Jhin, and Soraka. You guys can tell me your opinion about the tier list and what you guys think about the new patch and what you guys think about the changes and about the new items and runes. By the way, if you guys are wondering about the runes, I've made a video a while ago explaining all of the new runes, twice even, so you guys can check it out. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I see you guys next time. Bye bye.
Fire spreading all around my room. My world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hush.